20 years, the Simpsons have run out of ways to offend and outrage, which of course is part of their culture at this point. But the first Simpsons movie is less than 3 weeks away now, and a promotional tie-in with convenience stores has some people screaming racism. Alan Chernoff brings the immigrant outrage over the Simpsons and 7-Eleven out into the open tonight.
The restaurant is $24.95.
Apu Nahasapima Pedalin, Ph.D., the greedy and unethical Quickie Mart owner in the Simpsons cartoon, who would gladly sell you a dirty hot dog off the floor.
Oh, it is encrusted with filth. Oh, well, let's sell it anyway.
Now Apu is part of a promotional stunt for 7-Eleven. In a tie-in this month with the upcoming Simpsons movie, a dozen 7-Elevens have been turned into real-life Quickie Marts. Indian-American blogger Manish Bij charges 7-Eleven has created a racial caricature mart. Apu's accent, he complains, is entirely unrealistic, part of a distortion of his ethnicity.
It's a very stereotyped racist caricature of an Indian-American. And with the 7-Eleven promotion, it's the first time this has jumped into the real world.
Indian-American Serge Tyan, a store owner in California who declined to appear on camera, writes on the internet, he's insulted that his own parent company would embrace what he calls a racist portrayal. This is an absolute embarrassment for our company, writes Tyan. I am not willing to accept to be compared to Apu. I cannot imagine any store willing to rebrand to Quickie Mart even for a day. Fact is, though, half of the rebranded 7-Elevens are owned by Indian Americans, like Andy Chowdhury in Manhattan. He and other 7-Eleven franchisees from India say their fellow immigrants need to lighten up.
It's all fun. It's about sport. It's cartoon.
You don't think this is racial?
No, nothing at all. Nothing at all.
There's no debate that the promotion is good for business. Specially made Simpsons foods like Buzz Cola and Krusty-O cereal are literally flying off the shelves here. In fact, owners of stores that have been converted to Quickie Mart say their sales this month are more than double what they were this time last year.
I can't even explain to you how good it's going on. People are, customers are so happy.
Hundreds of 7-Elevens are owned by Indian Americans, according to the company, which says they overwhelmingly approved of the Simpsons tie-in. The 7-Eleven says no store was forced to participate.
How much is your penny candy?
Surprisingly expensive.
In The Simpsons, Apu's Quickie Mart overcharges for rotten food. That's okay, says 7-Eleven. We can laugh at ourselves.
No, I would say it certainly is positive. It's a cartoon, and it's meant to be fun.
7-Eleven is hoping all Americans can laugh along with The Simpsons as they snap up Krusty-O's and pink movie donuts. Alan Chernoff, CNN, New York.
So what are we really talking about here? Corporate racism or get over it, get a life? Let's go back to our panel with those questions. Robert Traynham, Julie Radinsky, and Laura Flanders. Do you really think that's funny? Were you insulted by that?
You know, I have mixed emotions. Look, I mean, if everyone's buying into this and it's a good thing, it's a good thing. But it feels kind of weird, though, simply because they're stereotyping and they really are pushing the envelope. And so having said that, it's one of those things where, frankly, it just makes me feel uneasy, but I'm not Indian American.
But the stereotyping is something that we should have gotten used to by now in The Simpsons. We're going to share with our audience now another clip from the TV show where you see Apu in action.
Hey, Kearney, this fake ID, it is truly excellent. Say, if you tell me where you obtained it, I will overlook the ice cream sandwiches concealed in your armpits, eh?
Are you offended by that?
You know, I thought it was silly story when I first heard about it. I thought if we want to talk about Indians being harassed, let's talk about South Asians harassed by Homeland Security, not Homer Simpson. That's been a plague in this community ever since 9/11. But then, you know, I started actually researching the story and listening to what the shopkeepers had to say, and they said, you know, it is hard enough in this climate, particularly as an immigrant, to work hard, to make a living, to serve this community, and now to be kind of asked by your corporation that owns the lease, that pays the utilities, that, you know, it isn't entirely a free choice, be asked to participate in this kind of crude ethnic jokery that is making fun of your own ethnicity. I don't think it's so funny.
Julie, let's put up on the screen what one of the South Asian owners of a 7-Eleven franchise had to say. Quote, accepting our portrayal of Apu is nothing less than accepting the images portrayed years ago in the U.S. of black people with very black faces, big lips, and white teeth. That image is considered racist, so does Apu too. Would there be more outrage if we were talking about unfair characterizations of blacks?
Guess what? The Simpsons unfairly characterizes everybody. It's an equal opportunity mocker they have a police officer who looks like a pig. They have, a born-again Christian that they constantly mock. They have women they constantly... It's a comedy show. It sort of reminds me of The Sopranos. People are saying it's an anti-Italian stereotype. People are going to think all Italians are mobsters. Well, I think people in real life know that not all Italians are mobsters. I think people in real life know that Indians, South Asians in general, are extraordinarily accomplished. And it's just an equal opportunity mockery.
I mean, look, the very person that you quote there, his name is Serge, was too afraid to talk to your reporters, your producers for this segment. He's afraid of reprisals, so that goes beyond just
funny.
It does
push the envelope. It does push the envelope.
Do you remember what Senator Joe Biden had to say?
Absolutely. About Barack Obama?
Yeah.
Or in reference to 7/11, of course.
Absolutely. Let's listen to what he said many months ago.
In Delaware, the largest growth in population is Indian Americans moving from India. You cannot go to a 7-Eleven or a Dunkin' Donuts unless you have a slight Indian accent. That's really, I'm not joking.
Well, he's not joking, but it's still very offensive. Extremely offensive, and he shouldn't have said it.
So if you're offended by that, and I understand Simpsons is a cartoon. I get that. Well, you said you had mixed emotions. Julie doesn't have.
I really don't. It's a cartoon. It's silly.
But it's still indicative of a time and place where you don't do things like that. That you shouldn't push the envelope.
It goes back to what we talked about with CBS and Don Imus. You've got an industry, a company that wants to be amping up its profits. What does it do? It goes to crude ethnic stereotyping.
And listen, there was an episode that I saw about 15 years ago, I think, with him, Paul McCartney, teaching one of the main characters on The Simpsons about vegetarianism and what a lovely way it was to save animals. So this is not just a stereotype. I mean,
well, now I have to be very clear to our listening audience, our viewing audience, that I'm not related to Ned Flanders. Can you just make that very clear?
Oh, thank you for setting the record straight on that.
This is reality TV confusion.
Hey, Julie, will you review the movie for us?
I will, and I'm sure it'll be great.
Robert Traynham, Julie Radinsky, Lauren Flanders.